Hello, and welcome to another in the TC Palm editorial board's series of interviews with candidates who are on the November ballot. In this session, we will be talking to the two candidates who are running for the District 4 seat on the St. Lucie County Commission. We have with us today Jamie Lee Fowler and Helen Lurie. And I'm Blake Fontenay. I'm a columnist and editorial board member for TC Palm. I'm joined by four other members of the editorial board. We have my fellow columnists, Ed Keller and Larry Reisman. We have citizen advisor, Louise Philippine, and our executive editor, Adam Neal. And so let's go ahead and get started with the questions. I will do this alternating as to who goes first. And Jamie, let's start with you. We typically go alphabetically. And so the first question I have is if you could talk to me a little bit about your thoughts about what role the county should play in managing development of the western parts of the county, assuming there is a role you feel the county should play there.
Absolutely. So I think, and it's a great first question because the majority of our growth that's going to be happening over the next 5, 15, and 20 years is certainly going to be in our District 5, the western portion of our county. And so it's important that we're mindful, responsible, and respectful of our growth, quality over quantity, making sure that we're doing it at a pace that's comfortable for the residents who have resided here for 20, 25 years, that are a little shocked at the rate of growth that we've seen for the past 3 years now and are going to continue to see over the next 10 years. So I think it's our job to do it in a responsible manner with our citizens in mind, the environment in mind, and making sure, again, we're bringing in what we need and not overdeveloping and building just to build.
Thank you. Helen, same question for you. What do you see as the county's role in managing development of the western parts of the county?
Yes, thank you for that question. Growth is inevitable. We've seen growth. We're projected to see even more growth in the county. And I think growth can be a good thing if we are growing responsibly. I've been knocking on doors and talking to citizens in our community for months. And one of the things that they're concerned about is an overdevelopment in our county. So I think that when we are embracing developers that want to come into our community and grow, we ensure that they're doing their part to contribute back to the county. What does that look like? People that live here in the county love St. Lucie because of its natural resources. So I think it's important that we have a good balance between the growth that will come and protecting our natural resources. Ensuring that our developers have green spaces available, walking trails, bike trails, ensuring that we have sidewalks, understanding that welcoming them into our community to develop has to be a partnership because that's what the individuals that live here are looking for. So we definitely are going to continue to grow, but it has to be responsible.
Okay, thank you. And let me start with you first on this next question. Do you feel like Clover Park is being fully utilized? And if it isn't, what are some of the ideas you have for how to increase utilization of it?
I think that's a very interesting question. Clover Park, I think it does great for our county because it brings in tourism dollars. I love the work that they've done over there. But some ideas, I think, I find that we have a very diverse community and maybe some international exhibition games being played there during the off seasons. I think that's something that will continue to draw dollars into our community, but also encourage more of St. Lucie County's diverse community to come there and use this beautiful facility that we have here. So that's what I would recommend. And I would also look forward to talking to citizens and seeing the citizens in the community and seeing what else they would like to see, because it is our facility. So that's the thought that I have for Clover Park at this point.
Thank you. Jamie, what do you think? Is Clover Park being used to its fullest potential? And if it isn't, what are some of the ideas for how it might be better used?
Absolutely. So in all my months campaigning, this is the first time this question has popped up. So I am excited to have a new question. So I've been in St. Lucie County for 23 years, but started coming here in the second grade. And coming from up north, I was always shocked and surprised that people knew where Port St. Lucie was. People from Westport, Connecticut, people from New York City. And you know why they know where Port St. Lucie was at that point? Was because of the Met Stadium. I would like us to see us utilize it more. We utilize it wonderfully during the spring training. But yeah, I would like to see more events there, more sporting events. I'd like to see what the county has for plans. I know we are going to be adding in quite a bit of tax dollars into Clover Park. And also, again, getting with the residents and seeing what they have for ideas for uses. I don't know if it's feasible, but a thought that I had was maybe doing some concerts there, since you already have a stadium, so to speak. But yes, I think there's many more opportunities for the stadium that could be utilized with some brainstorming.
Thank you. And let me start with you on the next question, which is somewhat related. Aside from Clover Park, what other cultural or recreational amenities do you think the county needs?
Absolutely. Thank you. So I'm really excited that our Cultural Alliance, we are bringing the arts to the county. And I feel that's something over the years we've really been lacking. You used to have to go down to Palm Beach to kind of see an art scene. And now that is popping up in downtown. And I think that's wonderful. I'd like to see us utilize our fairgrounds more. I'd like to see more events happen out there. I would love to see, some museums come in. How neat would it be to have a museum or an aquarium right here in St. Lucie County, more educational learning opportunities for children, students, and adults alike.
Okay, thank you. And Helen, same question. What other cultural or recreational amenities do you think the county could stand?
I think we have some amazing amenities already, and we're seeing some other ones coming into the county. I think number one, we need to focus on educating the community about what's out there. Oftentimes, people don't realize the amenities that we have here. For instance, we have the Highwaymen Painting Museum that is in its development stages, and I think that would be a fantastic attraction that would bring tourism to our community. So I'm looking forward to the full completion and development of this museum. A lot of people that live in our community now are from other places, such as myself. I've been here 20 years, but 20 years and residing in not only St. Lucie County, but in District 4 for 20 years. But I came from New York City, where there was a lot of attraction. And many of our community members that reside here are too from bigger cities. So they're always looking for different attractions, such as concerts, different festivals, and different fairs. I think the county and the city are doing a great job of providing these types of festivals, but we can continue to get feedback from the community to see what else we can do and how we can grow in that way.
Okay, thank you. And let me start with you on the next question. What can the county be doing to improve its wastewater management?
Absolutely. The wastewater management, I think the first step that we've made is great, and that is removing the water treatment plant. Well, we're heading in that direction. We've made a decision to relocate the water treatment plant from the island. We understand as a community how it is affecting our waterways. Septic to sewer is something that we have been talking about for many, many years. I've been, like I said, a resident of St. Lucie County for almost 20 years. And this is a conversation that we've been having for a long time. It's not new. We understand the detriment of the septics to our waterway. So it's important that we make a conscious effort to work towards that conversion. We also understand that it is going to be somewhat of a financial burden to our citizens. So we need to be tapping into funds that will assist our citizens in being able to make this transition. I think there needs to be an educational piece to make sure our county and city members understand the benefit that we would receive from the conversion from septic to sewer, and then really doing our research to secure funding and resources for our county, for our citizens here, so that we can get this work done sooner than later.
Thank you. And Jamie, same question for you. What areas of improvement to wastewater management do you foresee, or would you support?
Absolutely. So getting the water treatment plant off the island is a good first step, obviously. It's been talked about for many years. I even spoke to a member of the community, a business owner, that 10 years ago at his own cost submitted a proposal on how to move the wastewater treatment plant off the island. So I'm excited that wheels are finally turning. I agree we need to get away from septic and move over to sewer. What those steps look like, not 100% certain. Do we make it so that all new builds are just automatically on sewer? I think that's reasonable. What does it look like? Excuse me. What does it look like getting people converted off septic to sewer? Do you do that prior to the septic failing? Do you try to put a plan in place prior to that to speed up those conversions? So I would be open to looking at some ideas and some plans to getting that to happen. To Ms. Lurie's point, we've been talking about it for a really long time, and we need to stop talking about it, decide what the best steps are, and move forward.
Thank you. And let me start with you on this next question. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the relationship between state government and local governments in Florida, and of course, with particular emphasis on St. Lucie County.
Sure. Well, it's sort of all one circle, right? We're all intertwined. Local officials work with higher up officials, work with state officials. So at one point, I was door knocking with our state representative, Dana Trabolsi, and Fort Pierce City Commission candidate James Clasby. And residents really enjoyed that. They enjoyed seeing three different branches of government candidates, essentially, working together. And that a lot of politics governing is relationships, building relationships, being able to pick up that phone and having a one-on-one with someone. Where are you at on this situation? This is where I'm at. What kind of compromise can you make? What kind of compromise can I make? And come together and do what we need to do for the community. And that's how it all works together. And we see that right from the city and the county. If our county is not getting along with one of the cities, what happens? Our taxpayers, unfortunately, bear the brunt of that in the form of litigation or duplication of services. So It's paramount to our success at the local level.
Thank you. All right, Helen, same question. How do you view the current state of relationships between state government and the local governments in Florida?
Okay, thank you for that question. The platform that I'm running on is about creating a collaborative government. You often hear me say that I'm running on being community strong. And the reason why I say that is because all parts of government need to work together. I think as an elected official at the local level, our constituents, the citizens that live here, are depending on us at the local level to work collaboratively with elected officials at the state level and to do everything that we can with elected officials at the federal level. We constantly have to be lobbying for our community, identifying funds and grants that we can bring back to St. Lucie County. And that's not something that can be achieved if we don't have a desire to work together. The issues that we deal with, especially at the local level, are nonpartisan issues. They are community issues. And as a representative of District 4, which is part of the Board of County Commission, we have an obligation to do what we can to work with all levels of government to do what's best for the citizens of St. Lucie County.
Thank you. And let me start with you on this next question. As anyone who's looked at their tax bill knows, there are a lot of special districts within the county. Do you feel like there is a need to streamline that at all? And if so, how would you go about doing that?
Okay, thank you for that. Special districts. I think we have a very unique county. And each part, all these different special districts play an intricate part in making us unique. Now, can we should we be looking at what's in place and identifying if there's places where we can cut that can assist our citizens without reducing services? I think that's a constant thing that should be happening. We should always be reviewing. But I think what we have in place right now is what makes us so unique. And they seem to be working for the betterment of the county, but there's always work to be done to see what else we can do to make it even better.
Thank you. Jamie, same question. How do you feel about special districts? Are there any that need to be streamlined? And if so, how would you go about doing that?
Absolutely. So as we know, our tax bill here is something that's constantly spoken about. We have a lot of separate special taxing districts. It's not just one district on there. You have erosion, you have mosquito control, you have South Florida water management, and the list goes on, fire district. I think it's important to look and see if we're using all of those funds. So, I know our constitutional offices, for instance, ask for a certain amount each year. And a lot of the offices at the end of the year, give what's left over back to the county commission. So in a similar fashion, I would like to get with all of those individual districts, the heads of the department, and dig into this a little deeper. Do we really need to have that assessment at that percentage for them? If we have unused funds in those accounts, then clearly it's overtaxed. We don't need that high a mill. Let's reduce it. I think everything needs to be looked at, and I plan on going in with a fresh eye and really posing the question, why are we doing this? Do we need it? Is it a necessity? I'm about what we need versus what we we want. We need to be making sure we're spending money on what we need before the wants.
Thank you. And Helen, I will come back to you on this one as well, but a quick follow-up for you specifically. One of these is fire services, and I'm curious to know if either of you feel like there would be any merit in having that folded within county government as opposed to being a standalone district. And Jamie, I'll let you have first crack at that one.
Absolutely. So I do know they are a standalone, and I'm pretty certain that was something that was sent out to the voters, and we did vote on it. I'd want to see what that would look like, honestly. I'm curious as to why we essentially thought it would be best to separate them. If there's any pros or cons to that, I would be open to looking and seeing. Again, ultimately, it's about what's best for the community, not one particular division within our community.
Thank you. And Helen, same question for you. Do you feel like there would be any value in having the fire services folded under county government as opposed to being a special district?
So I know that, again, I spoke earlier about the uniqueness of St. Lucie County, and I believe our fire district is probably the only fire district that stands alone throughout the state. At the time of this occurrence, there was reason to believe that this was the best thing to do. I think anything that's in place deserves to be reviewed. I have no reason at this point to say that there's a need to change what's in place, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be reviewing what's existing to determine if there's any ways that we can tweak anything that's currently existing. So again, we're unique. Our county is unique. There are things that exist here that don't necessarily exist in other counties, and that's one of them. But I look forward as a county commissioner to come in and identify the things that we've been doing, because we don't want to just do things just because it's been done that way. We truly want to be reviewing things regularly to make sure that we are making the best decisions for the county as a whole.
Thank you. All right, and let's see. I will stay with you first on the next question. Helen, what role, if any, do you think that the county has in addressing climate change?
Thank you. Climate change is real. Number one, I think it's important that we're true to that it's real. Our focus should be on clean energy, things that would help reduce our footprint here. We live in a sunshine state. An emphasis on solar should be something that the county should be focused on. I would love to see more government buildings that are using solar. I would like to see more fuel efficient vehicles being used on a county level. Climate change is something that we have to get a handle on because we have a responsibility to leave this place better than we found it. The county can play a huge role. It can play a huge role in terms of different manufacturing companies that come into our area. Like I said, I would like to see more of a focus on solar. So drawing in those manufacturing industries into our community could set us on a map to put us at the forefront of dealing with the climate change that we see. So that is my main focus, is making sure that A, we're cognizant of the fact that it exists, B, identifying how we can make a positive change, which is more clean, energy efficient ways of dealing with the everyday activities that we have to deal with in our community, but definitely a focus on clean energy and solar.
Thank you. And Jamie, same question. What do you think is the county's role in dealing with climate change?
Sure, absolutely. So it's everyone's responsibility, right? Not just here in St. Lucie County, it's every single person can make an impact. If everyone, I go back, it's going to show my age for a moment, reduce, reuse, recycle, right? We grew up with that in school. We can all individually make little changes that add up to big impacts. Solar. So I would like to continue with more clean energy. State of Florida does lead in solar. Within the last couple months, I apologize, I cannot tell you what month it was, but we actually just installed our 1 millionth solar panel here in the state of Florida. So I think we are leading the charge, and we're going to continue leading the charge. As far as here locally, in addition, I think we can look a little bit more into alternate modes of transportation, getting more people out of cars, making it more friendly for people to bike, even maybe golf cart friendly, neighborhoods, but getting people out of the vehicles, getting them walking, getting them out in the environment are ways that we can reduce our emissions. And perhaps focus our new businesses coming in, focus on businesses that will have less of a footprint. We've been, one of our targeted industries, of course, is manufacturing and transportation. We know the effects of that. So I think those are going to bring great things to the county, but I would like to see us also expand and look at other businesses that don't create such a large carbon footprint.
Okay, thank you. And you are going to the two of you will get a question. I wasn't able to ask the previous set of candidates that we had in District 2 because I just found out about this. But we have a report that says that Howard Tipton will be leaving for a new job. And so I would like to know how you all would propose handling the search for his replacement. And Jamie, if you could tackle that one first.
That's news to me as well. So again, with campaigning, going to the meetings, attending the Citizens Academy, I've had the opportunity to meet and talk with our county administrator quite a bit. I think we're going to need to be mindful. Sometimes I feel we don't perhaps look far enough. I want to make sure that we're looking within St. Lucie County. I'm sure we have a qualified person right here in the county, but I just want to make sure that we're mindful and responsible of doing a good search and making sure that whomever we do decide to bring in has our county in their best interest.
Well, let me be even more specific on that. Do you believe that there needs to be a national search, even if there are local candidates who are internal candidates who are deemed to be qualified?
I think whatever the criteria is right now, if we had a local person that fit that role, what better than someone right here in St. Lucie County? One of the things I've talked about a lot is consulting fees, hiring in people from outside our county to tell us about what's happening in our county. Who better to know what's going on in the county and the direction that we want to take than someone from right here? So no, I don't think we necessarily need to if that person lives right here.
Thank you. And Helen, same question for you. What are your thoughts about handling the search for Mr. Tipton's replacement, and specifically this issue of how broad the search needs to be if there are local candidates out there that might fill the job?
Yes. So this is news to me that Howard Tipton is leaving us. Howard Tipton has been a huge asset to our community. He is well versed in what's happening in St. Lucie County and throughout the state. Um, are it's going to be big shoes to fill. Um, so in terms of search for candidates, I'm going to have to agree with Jamie on this. You know, if we have a candidate here in St. Lucie County, that should be who we should be looking at first. Now, should we cast a wider net to and have different options? Absolutely. So we can interview different candidates. But I go back to the uniqueness of St. Lucie County, right? Those that know St. Lucie County best are those that have been here, have been contributing to the county, have been assisting in the decision-making process. And those may be individuals that are working with the government, the local government already. I believe in hiring from within. I always talk about when we bring industries into the community, what I would like to see is that they hire from within, they hire from our county. And I don't think this is any different. But should we cast a wide net and see what other candidates are out there and what they may have to offer? Why not? But I think we may find our best candidate from St. Lucie County.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to open it up for the other editorial board members. I've been talking a lot, so if any of you all have questions and would like to jump in, please do so now.
Yeah, I'd like to, I guess we'll start with Ms. Lurie, but can you please specifically cite an ethical dilemma you might have had in your lifetime and how you handled it?
That's a great question, right? Because any elected official needs to understand that they may be faced with ethical decisions. So I'd like to take this time to talk about my background. I am a former federal officer, but sworn, taking an oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution. I am now a realtor. That ethics is huge in our industry. So let me go to being a federal officer. The role that I played as a federal officer was that I worked in assisting federal judges in determining sentences for convicted federal offenders. Now, in that role, the individuals that I dealt with understood that I played an intricate part in what their sentence might possibly be. So, as you can imagine, I've had individuals that would try to offer me season tickets, offer me different things in hopes that would help them into maybe having a more favorable sentence. What ethics is doing the right thing regardless of who is watching. The oath that I took to uphold the U.S. Constitution isn't something that I did not take lightly. As a realtor, ethics courses is something that we are required to take on a regular basis. I've had individuals, like a part of real estate is when you're working with a seller, they have to fill out a seller's disclosure form. I've had maybe one seller that did not want to disclose something that they thought was really minor. And I was clear to tell them that's not how I operate, because my reputation is all I have. So yes, my life's work has been about making serious decisions that affect people's lives and livelihoods. And being an ethical person is the only way that you operate in those fields. So in transferring that to an elected official, I think that's just the minimum requirement that's required of an individual that is placed there to represent the community.
Thank you. Ms. Fowler, can you talk about an ethical dilemma you might have had in the past and how you handled it?
Absolutely. Thank you. In my line of work, whether this sounds bad, but unfortunately, I am hit with proposition, so to speak, all the time. As a towing company, we're towing people's vehicles that have personal effects. You would really be surprised on some of the things that people keep in their vehicle, i.e., a value of, sensitive information. I have been approached by family members, attorneys, doctors, you name it, wanting to get things out of someone else's vehicle, release the vehicle. I was driving it. I just don't want my wife to know that I had her vehicle towed. We are constantly in this business kind of pitted against kind of ethical situations. And I've been navigating that for the past 23 years, and it's really simple. And my dad taught me this, and I live by this. Your word is your bond. If you don't have your word, if your word isn't worth anything, you have nothing. And that's what I think all of our elected officials should hold themselves to that high regard.
Thank you. I'll turn it over to Ed.
We'll start with you, Ms. Fowler. Recently, there was a visioning project was completed for the Port of Fort Pierce. What are your thoughts on the port and its development plan?
Absolutely. So I know the governor was just here and presented the mayor with a very large check to help do that project in King's Landing. We've got director down there in the port. You know what? I'm just ready for something to happen. The port has kind of sat for a while. Director's been in there a couple years. Be it the fact that I've been here so long and we've just talked about it so long, I just really want to see things, start moving. I want to see the port filled with mega yachts. I want to see us, refurbishing them. Director also manufactures little submarine vessels. Another great way to inject our economy and bring in more jobs. I'm excited about what's coming, but I would like to actually see it start to happen.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Lurie, the same question to you. What are your thoughts on the port going forward in its development?
Yes, thank you. I think any opportunity that we have to bring tourism dollars into our community is something that we should definitely work towards because it kind of shifts the burden from just the residents in the county. So director is there at the port, and I understand, and I know that they had some setbacks as a result of the pandemic. The port is something that we've been discussing for a while. It's a work in progress. It's something that's not going to happen overnight. But the development down there, what would I like to see happen? The development that is projected for that area is something that would definitely assist our county financially. So I'm looking forward to that. Like Ms. Fowler said, we were just presented with a large check for the development of that downtown area. So anything that is going to create more tourism dollars for our community, create jobs for our community is what I would like to see more of in that area.
Thank you. That's all I have, Blake.
Okay, thank you. And Adam or Louise, do you have anything at this time? Okay. Well, we are getting close to the end of our allotted time, so I would like to give each of you an opportunity to make a closing statement. And one thing that I would ask, you're free to go over, anything that we haven't covered so far in the interview, But I'd really like to also hear you draw a contrast between yourselves and your opponents. So tell us what it is that is different about you that's a reason to vote for you as opposed to your opponent. And let's see, where did we leave this?
We left off Miss Lori.
Okay, let's start with her on this one then.
Yes. So I want to thank you for this opportunity. Creating a platform for voters to be informed about their candidates is so essential and so important. So why am I running for this office? I'm a mom. I am a wife of a local business owner. I'm a former educator that has been touching lives and impacting lives for many years. I was a former department chair. I say all of that to highlight my levels of leadership. I've already mentioned that I was a federal officer. So not only have I been in levels of leadership, but I've also been in positions that have been making serious decisions about people's lives and livelihood for a very, very long time. I moved here from New York, but when I relocated to St. Lucie County, District 4 has always been my home. My position and my vision is to create a collaborative government that's going to work for everyone in St. Lucie County. There is no self-interest in this run. My run is to do what's best for our community. We have an affordable housing crisis that, as a realtor, that I'm seeing regularly. And I look forward to working tirelessly for the individuals that we're representing. We have to make sure that when we're talking about infrastructure improvements, that it's not just infrastructure based, but also that we're focused on transportation, different modes of transportation. I know that there's room for improvement in that area. I am committed to doing the work that lies ahead. I have been nurturing relationships for years because I understand if we are going to have a collaborative government, that there has to be relationships established with the other local government officials. I understand that the work is not just within St. Lucie County, but it's also stepping out of St. Lucie County, identifying amazing and unique things that are happening throughout the country, and possibly embracing some of those and bring them into our county. I understand the need to work with our state legislators and our federal elected officials with one thing in mind, and that's doing what's best for our community. So before I close, I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to thank our Commissioner Hutchinson, for her service to our county for almost 2 decades, for 2 decades, I should say. And if I have the honor to be elected as the next county commissioner to represent St. Lucie County District 4, I can assure you that I will work tirelessly for the citizens of our county. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jamie, closing statement, please.
Absolutely. So I am Jamie Fowler. I'm running for St. Lucie County Commission District 4. I'm running because I want to be the voice of our community, and I want to put government back into our hands. Through door knocking, through phone calls, I know residents, just like myself, feel the same way. They feel as though the same 10, 20 people are making all the decisions for us. And I want to work on getting our community back involved in government so that all of us are making the decisions for the future of our wonderful community here. I've been in a leadership position since my early 20s. when you run a business, manage a business, I don't have a policy manual. I don't have a rule book that I can refer back to. Running a business, you're using your gut, you're using your knowledge of the industry. You're relying on yourself and believing in yourself, and obviously always hoping for the best, learning from when it doesn't turn out the right way. When I started at Tri-County, same thing. I wasn't given a blueprint. I wasn't formally trained. I started as a second shift dispatcher while working a full-time job as an assistant body shop manager at Bill Schultz. Hard work is not anything I've ever been afraid of. I've worked since I was 14 years old. And I've always just kind of been thrown in, and I always swim. I never sink. And I promise you, I will be doing the same thing for the residents of this community, working every single day, working hard to improve transparency, be more fiscally responsible at the county level, more common sense. I know a lot of business people sit back. That doesn't make any sense. I know a lot of us look at government and say that. So these are some of the things that I feel I bring to the table: fresh perspectives, creative ideas. In the end, what I can tell you is what I have put into my last 23 years of work, I'm going to put every single ounce of that into the next 4 years as a county commission, if I am so lucky to be able to represent the people of District 4. I will work hard every day to make sure you know what your county commission does that affects you and your family.
Okay. Thank you to both of the candidates and to the people who are watching this video. I hope it's been helpful to you in forming your decision prior to the November election. And please remember that there are other videos, stories, and editorials about this campaign season available on TC Palm. So thanks again.
Thanks for having us.